Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover today. What the Democrats are asking the Republicans, what they're asking President Trump to do with ICE is beyond insane, and I'm going to break that down in the beginning of the show. But we've got a lot of other things to cover too, because there's been some major breaking news on many fronts. So it's one of those days where there's like so much. Where do you even begin? Well, I figured that out with this story. We're going to be live on the radio in about 20 seconds, so stand by for that. If you're on hold, hang in there. People already calling in, I get it. But almost time. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. It is Friday already. I can't believe how fast this week has gone. We've got so much to cover. I'm going to start with this story about the Democrats' list of demands. They actually have a list of demands that they want President Trump and the Republicans to agree to in regards to ICE. And I'm going to go through these in a moment or two, and we're going to talk about it because it's just, not only is it insane, but it's hypocritical. There's a lot of other things we're going to cover on the program today. And of course, because today is Friday, Friday is always open phones on the show. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Friday's show, since it's Open MAGA Mike Friday, you could call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't even have to comment on the things that we bring up. So on Friday, the show prep is up to you and the listening audience, all right? And the number, of course, to call in is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to go through a little bit of this list of demands that the Democrats have on the Republicans and the president in regards to ICE, because I want to talk about this a little bit in the beginning. But if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go to the phones in just a bit, I promise you. Okay, so this is in Town Hall, and you can find all the articles that I cover on my program or on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. Democrats have made this clear for weeks. Democrats have officially announced, listen to this, Democrats have officially announced their desire to end the use of probable cause administrative warrants and instead require officers to seek judicial warrants to conduct operations. Okay, now this is one that they started talking about 2-3 days ago. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a legal expertise, so I'm not going to sit here and break down the difference between probable cause administration warrants and judicial warrants. This is what I know. Okay? With the Democrats. The reason that they're pushing this warrants from judges before you go after these illegals is because they know they have first off, there's so many illegals that even if the judges were all good people, the system would be overwhelmed and wouldn't be able to handle it, okay? Because those things have to be processed and everything. But we have so many crooked judges out there who wouldn't give the warrants. So this whole thing about judicial warrants, as you know, these Democrats, and I've had some of the calls here this week, they stand up all holy. I support the Constitution and constitutional violations and the Fourth Amendment and this amendment and that amendment. Democrats have been telling me my entire life that the Constitution should not even apply. Obama talked about this a lot. The Constitution was written by white supremacist slaveholders for the benefits of white supremacy, and it should not. Now, all of a sudden, with Trump in his second term, the Constitution is a sacred, holy document, according to the left. But that one there, that's just a way for them to clog up the machine. But the next one, this is great. Listen to this. Their second demand the Democrats are making on the president and the Republicans is this. Require that ICE agents demask and display their names on their uniforms. Now, of course, we know the reason they want to do that. But what are they asking for? They're asking for identification. You know, police officers, even regular police officers, patrolmen, should not have their names on their uniforms in this day and age. Every single police officer should have a nameless uniform. The badge number will suffice. And if you got a problem and you report them, you got the badge number. That's all you need. Can you imagine what it's like to be a cop these days? Just a regular cop. And your name's all over your uniform. It's very dangerous because people can be tracked down and doxxed so easily today. And they have to wear the masks, and they have to keep their names off the uniforms so that their families are not harassed or worse. Because you know what it would be like. Remember when Antifa went to Tucker Carlson's house and his wife was hiding? What was she, in the bathroom or the closet? Remember all that? That's what they want to do to these ICE officers. And of course, we're not going to let them do that. But on top of that, so they want them to walk around with ID. Aren't they the ones telling us that asking for ID is racist? As they oppose this SAVE Act? Let's see here. What's next? Democrats are seeking to restrict ICE officers from conducting operations at sensitive locations, including but not limited to medical facilities, right? So you can't go to the hospitals, schools, childcare facilities, and churches. The two key locations listed, the Democrats, are polling places and courts. So they don't want you to be, basically, they don't want ICE to be able to go anywhere where there might be an illegal. I mean, this, and why, by the way, why do they not want ICE at polling locations? Certainly the illegals aren't in line to vote. Why would they want them there? Democrats also demand an end to racial profiling and ending the practice of ICE officers targeting jobs and locations like Home Depot, Lowe's, and such. So, when not one of their demands is even close to reasonable. There's not even anything that, it's what J.D. Vance said. There's no negotiating with these people. That's exactly right. And it goes on and on. But, I mean, those are the main demands. So basically what they're saying is you can't arrest any illegals. Are they out of their minds? Really, are they out of their minds? When you're in a negotiation, you got to have something that's reasonable. They haven't, but this is how the left are. And this is, when you see things like this, it's why those of us that are MAGA get so frustrated with these Republican establishment people like Thune in the Senate who are gumming up all the works for the Democrats. This 60-vote majority is a bunch of nonsense. We need 51 votes, that's it. What's the point of having the majority if you got to have greater than the majority to pass a vote through? It's absurd. There's never been a time where voter ID was more important than it is today, because the Democrats are very, very desperate. They're very, very desperate right now. And you know what happens with desperation? They're like caged animals. But no, you make your demands. No one's going to listen to them. All right, now, if you're on hold, stand by. I will take calls after the first break. We're coming up on that first break. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. It is open phones today, open MAGA Mike Friday, so you can call in about any and everything on your mind on today's show. Please try to keep it interesting. The Friday open phone show can be the best show of the week, or it can be an embarrassment to me, Steve Cade, and the show. But overall, most of the open phones, open MAGA Mike Fridays, are pretty good. So just try to be interesting, guys. That's all I ask, all right? Okay, now when we get back from our first break, I will go to the phones. I got a whole bunch of things to bring up. My name's Brian, and don't forget, free shipping on every order at MyPillow.com right now with our promo code Kane at checkout. No matter how large, no matter how small. Okay? It is free shipping on every order with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. This is a very rare thing, the free shipping offer. It came without notice. It will end without notice. So you still have time to do your Valentine's Day shopping, but you might want to start thinking about Mother's Day right now. When there's free shipping involved, that's a huge savings. So take advantage of it. Go to mypillow.com, free shipping on every order with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone toll free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back. You know, you look, guys, I mean, you look at this list of demands. Is there anything that the Democrats are asking for that is in the least bit rational or reasonable? They're out of their minds. You know, the Democrats, they just have not accepted the fact that they've lost the country. They've lost the pulse of the country. And you know what? They've lost it forever. The Democrat Party right now is basically a third party, right? Who are their constituents? Who do they really represent? They've lost their victim groups, right? Hispanics support Trump. Blacks support Trump. Gays, we've got large gay MAGA people out there. All of the Democrat victim groups have evaporated and found their way to the Republican Party through Donald Trump. And you look at the way that they're behaving. What are they doing to pivot to try to win any group back? Now, we don't want the Democrats to correct things. They're doing a very good job helping us win the midterm election. So yeah, exactly. So, you know, I don't want them to fix it. They're out of their minds. But I never thought I would see a situation where the Democrat Party would no longer exist. And what's happening is it's being replaced with democratic socialism. And what they're going to find is, well, that's not where the hearts and minds of the American people are. Okay, what time are we back? Give me 1 second, guys. We got just over a minute, and we'll be back. Hold on. Stand by. Less than a minute. Less than a minute, and we'll be back. A little more than 30 seconds. Yeah, the Democrats. No, we don't want the Democrats to get help and figure this out. We want them to keep losing, right? We don't want them to win. Why would we want that? All right, 25 seconds. Yes, they are delusional. No question. Mm-hmm. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm hoping Steve will return today. I talked to Steve yesterday after I got off the air, so I'm hoping he'll be back today. He seemed to be feeling a little bit better. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Good morning. This is Michelle. I'm calling for Jamaica, Queens, New York.
All right. Queens, New York. What's on your mind?
Well, with all this stuff going with the immigration, how the Democrats wants to defund it is ridiculous. And Bad Bunny with his comments about the Super Bowl, how ICE, they better pray that the lady who's, the mother who was kidnapped, they better pray that it's not by an illegal.
It's an interesting you bring that up because, Savannah Guthrie's mother not only was very liberal, she made anti-Trump posts on Facebook and everything I've been hearing. And
Oh,
it would not surprise me if she was the type that was hiring illegals to do work around her house and stuff. It wouldn't surprise
oh
me at
my
all.
God. Well, I pray she's safely returned, but if it's done by an illegal, because she's in Arizona, I don't know how far she's from that border, it's going to be hell to pay.
Well, I'll tell you,
It's going to
I
be.
really think that now this, we don't know. We haven't gotten too much out of what's going on there. I mean, there was that story that maybe the son-in-law is a suspect, and it was confirmed by that
Yes.
idiotic sheriff that they did impound the sister's car. So
Wait.
so that's a true story. But and I'm watching these press conferences, and that the elephant in the room are the illegals of Arizona. Right. So, not one person in the press has said, is it possible there's some illegals, that not, and no one's even asked the question, and the longer I go without that question being asked, the longer I wonder, well, that must be the prime suspects or illegals, right? All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call from Queens, New York. Oh, man. All right. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Larry. I'm calling from New Jersey. How are you today?
All right, Larry in New Jersey. What's on your mind?
Hey, listen, I want to bring up homeowners insurance. I'd like to make somebody aware. I've written emails to Andy Kim. I've tried everything. No one will respond. The homeowners insurance companies are screwing the homeowner constantly. I'm in the insurance claim business. I used to do $7.35 million a year in business. I can't even do $1 million a year.
Oh, wow.
They're playing a new game.
When
They're
you say
playing a
1
game
million
that's
in
called-
business, you mean in policies, or is that how much you make?
No, that's how much the company brings in. It used to be 7.3.
Oh, okay. That's not like your commission. Well, I got to tell you, here in Florida, our insurance has been going up through the roof the last few years. And when I get the notice in the mail every year, I don't open it because I know it's bad news, And my wife, against my wishes, showed it to me this year, and I almost threw up. I mean, it's that high. It's insane.
Right, but they're dropping. They'll keep raising the prices, but they're dropping policy all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's hail, whether it's wind, whether it's flood, they're dropping off whatever caveat they want.
That's true.
They're playing a game called.
Well, listen, it's open phones on Friday, but there's not much we can go with that. But I agree with you. Homeowners insurance, it's out of control. And I certainly don't like paying the high prices I'm paying. I'm not going to tell you how much I'm paying. It's really high, and I'm not in a flood zone, and I live in a small house, and how much it is just blows my mind. So a lot of people have dropped their insurance in Florida. That's called self-insured. That's okay to do if you're like loaded, but it's a very dangerous thing when we're with hurricanes and all. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Good morning. This is Dan. I'm calling from Jamaica, Queens, New York.
Yeah, you just called. Yeah, we moved on, but that's okay. It's one call per show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know.
I didn't let you finish
this-
because I went. You were there. I went to you and you weren't there, so I moved on. If I didn't let you finish, go ahead. But
Yeah, I just pray to God that the newscaster's mother was not abducted by an illegal, because you were saying earlier that the mother was anti-Trump, against Trump.
yes, very liberal.
Oh,
And some of that may be because I learned a lot about Savannah. By the way, thanks for the call, but it's one call per show. The rest of you hold stand by. I did not know this, but Savannah Guthrie and her family are from Australia. She was a baby when they came here, so maybe she has some connection to the illegals because she's an immigrant. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
If the two sides of the Republican Party, the MAGA side and the establishment side, were in total lockstep, the reaction to these demands should be, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Okay.
Because that's what these Democratic demands are.
Well,
They're
I know
demands.
on the face of it, a lot of people may say, well, that sounds crazy. Why would you say that about Democrats? Democrats are advocating for these illegal criminals to not only stay in our country, but to roam free. I just saw 2 stories today of illegals killing American citizens just yesterday. I mean, so if if that's not terrorism, I don't know what terrorism is.
Absolutely, they want to force the names on the uniforms for the ICE agents, and they want to force the badge numbers. You know, that's what they want to do. They're trying to get things by force, and if that, like you said, if that's not terrorism, I don't know what is.
Terrorism is when civilians are targeted.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mike. Appreciate the call. Good point. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Oh, hey, Doc. You calling in to apologize for your language yesterday?
Actually, I am.
Good. You manned up. All right. I accepted.
Okay, but what's it? Why? That's what I want to call you for about that. What does the difference make? Because I don't have any children. I care about this country, the children in this country, even though I don't have children. I have nieces and nephews. I have great nieces and nephews.
Because this is something. It's a good question you ask, and I'm glad you asked. I'm going to give you an answer, and this is a legit answer. My wife and I have friends that are our age, that we've known our whole lives, that don't have children. And there's a big difference in adults who have children and adults who don't have children, okay? And when you have children, my daughter's going to be 27 years old next month. When you have children, no matter how old they are, they're always your children, and that's when you finally mature as a human, when you start caring about someone else more than yourself. And all of our friends and these are people we've known our whole life that don't have kids, there's different ways that it manifests, but they still live like young children. They still live like they're 22 years old. I mean, it's just not the same. And until you have children, you really don't have an understanding of what life's all about.
I don't buy that, Brian.
Right.
Brian, okay. I don't have any children. I told you I was married. My wife is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter has a granddaughter.
Yeah.
I figured that child is my granddaughter. I would give her the world.
Right.
I would let nobody hurt her.
All right.
And I would let nobody hurt her. So how does that make me a bad person?
I didn't say you're a bad person. You asked me what the difference. No, I didn't say you were a bad person.
But so what makes me? I don't care about children. Then I care about.
I didn't say you don't care about children.
So
when you have children, nieces and nephews don't count. When you have children,
yes, they do, Brian. Yes, they do. You tell somebody a woman or man doesn't have children, their nieces and nephews doesn't count. They care about them more than what they.
No, I didn't. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that they don't count as people. What I'm saying is that until you have children, you really are not in a position.
Right.
You asked a question. I'm trying to explain it. You don't want to hear it.
Yes, I do, Brian. What you're saying
stop
not
interrupting.
Sense.
What I'm telling you is
it doesn't make sense, Brian. It doesn't make sense.
When you have children, your children eat before you eat. You understand what I mean? It's what that's.
I understand it.
Yeah, their needs come before yours, no matter what.
And I would make sure if my nieces and nephews are at my house, I make sure they eat before I eat.
It's not.
Because I'll make sure.
I'm not talking about manners at the dinner table, but I didn't say you're a bad person because you don't have children. I'm just saying that you don't have a full.
That's the way you insinuate.
Well, that's the way you took it, but I didn't insinuate that.
That's the way you meant it.
You did as a man without children. As a man without children. Okay.
Okay. Let's change the subject. Can I take something else?
It's Open MAGA Mike Friday. It's open phones.
Okay. Here's the deal. What's going on with the I can't call her name now. What happened in Georgia? Trump and his people can't keep their story
Fannie
straight.
Willis?
No, Brian. With the lady that Tulsi Gabbard. I think
Tulsi Gabbard.
The one that went. I cannot think of her name right now.
Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard. Those are the Pam Bondi. Those are the three ladies involved.
Okay, Tulsi Gabbard, the one that went to Florida, went to Georgia with the associate to get the legal voting records.
Yeah.
She said Trump said Trump sent her there. Trump said he don't know who sent her there. Somebody's lying, Brian. Who's lying? Trump or her?
I didn't hear either of them make that comment, so I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
he did, Brian.
No, I didn't.
Brian, you know fully well.
No, I
bro.
didn't. I did
You know
not.
fully
I did
well.
not hear either of them
Brian.
make that
See,
comment.
That's the problem. Brian, it's all over. It's all over, Brian. It's tape. It's on tape. Go research it.
I'm not here to do research that you send me on a chase to do.
You know I'm telling you the truth. You know I'm telling you the truth, Brian. You won't admit it. Somebody's lying. That's what I'm saying.
I haven't heard those statements, so I can't comment on them. I'm sorry. All right, take care. Take care. Oh my goodness. Oh man. But you see what Doc from Texas illustrated in that call is what I was talking about. And I know some people will get offended by this. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you don't have children, but you don't become fully mature until you do. And if you listen to that conversation with Doc from Texas, because he doesn't have children that he's raised, he can't even have a normal conversation. The way he speaks to me is like a child, interrupting every other syllable and everything else. Do you understand what I mean? That's all I'm talking about. All right, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. It's Open MAGA Mike Friday. My name's Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon.
All right, we are still in radio break for about 2 minutes, and we'll be back. But you know, it's so interesting what triggers people, right? I mean, you know, I've talked about this before from time to time, not often, but from time to time it'll come up about not having kids. Being totally, when you have children, that's when you become selfless, right? And people that have children, before I was a parent, I would hear people talk this way. And sometimes it was callers calling me on the air. And it didn't make sense. I thought, what a jerk you are, you know? What a jerk. And then when my daughter was born and we adopted her, then I understood real quick. You know, and, you know, it's a lot like when you're young. Like when I was young and I was starting out and I was on the air and I was like 19, there were guys that were my age that were just so rude to me because they're like, what do you know? Who are you? You know, you don't have any life experience. You got all these opinions talking into that microphone, and all that stuff. And I thought, what did your and now as an adult, I understand that somebody who's 19 or 20 years old is a child, and they don't get the way the world is, right? Hold on. You get, things happen in life, and you gain wisdom, and children, for most people, will bring that wisdom to you. All right, we'll be back in less than 30 seconds. Stand by. About 20 seconds, we'll be back. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number's toll-free no matter where you're watching. It's pinned in the live chat. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 888-465-2631. I am going to give credit, though, to Doc for apologizing for the way he spoke on the air yesterday. Not many liberals take responsibility. So, yeah. In fact, I can't remember the last time a liberal took responsibility on the phones on this program. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Sandra from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
Hey, this is a little bit different subject than what you've been talking about. And, of course, that woman you had before, or it sounded like a woman, was insane. Anyway.
That was Doc from Texas is a man, if that's who you're referencing.
Well, it sounded like a woman. Sorry.
Yeah, dude sounds like a lady. Yeah.
Yeah. I woke up early this morning and I was looking through Tubi to try and find a movie to watch. I found this documentary and it had President Trump's face on it. And it's called Unfit. It's called Unfit, Psychological Profile of Donald J. Trump.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if you've seen it or not.
No, I'm not going to watch that. Why would I want to watch that?
It needs to be watched because the liberals, it's very, very biased. It is a defamation of character.
Yeah.
It made my blood boil. It was done back in 2020. They blamed him for everything. And I got so mad while I was watching that any of your listeners, I beseech them to watch that documentary.
Okay.
Unfit Psychological Profile.
Okay. On Tubi. All right, I'll check it out. All right, maybe. I'm
Tubi,
not going to watch
Tubi.
it. I might pull it up, but I can't believe why would I want to sit down and I'm really not interested in watching some liberal movie about President Trump. Why would I don't know. Go watch Melania this weekend in the theater.
I know, but it just I was interested to see what it said, and if I was a pot on the stove boiling, the water would have boiled over.
Oh, okay. All right. I appreciate it. Unfit on Tubi. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. James from Boca.
Hey, James. What's up?
It's MAGA Mike Friday, and I everybody's that guy Doc. How can people be so blind to what President Trump is finally, the only real president in the last 100 years, is doing for our country?
Oh, yeah.
I just don't get it. How blind
what a lot of it is.
People are. I don't get it.
There's so few Democrats left, really, that, someone like Doc, it could be just a bad habit. Most people that are Democrats, if you want to really boil it down, most people that are Democrats have some immorality in their life that they're ashamed of, but the Democrat Party embraces. Like that lady minister that was preaching abortion from the pulpit yesterday that I was sharing. She said she had 2 abortions, right? So most people that are Democrats either have an immorality currently going on or something in their past that they're ashamed of. And so the Democrats, they They like immorality. That's and by the way, immorality could be bigotry. You know, they could hate Christians, they could hate white people, they could, you know, they could be. It's not necessarily an abortion, but there's some dysfunction in their life as to why they're a Democrat. In most instances,
You know, yeah, I'm going to say because I've met families that are Democrats that seem normal. You know, I mean, they have 2 kids, wife and a husband, and they are all Democrats, and I just don't understand why. But they sure do take those tax credits for their kids when they come around.
Well, it depends. You know, when you see people that are normal, sometimes they're born into it and it's a bad habit that they haven't been able to break. You know, in this last election, my mother voted Republican for the first time in her life. My mother voted, and she's retired in her 70s. She voted Democrat her whole life, and in the last election, she voted for Trump. She never voted for a Republican, ever. You know, and my mother was born into it. My grandfather was a union guy, and my mother just didn't follow the news. And then she retired and started watching the news and was like, holy smokes, what have I been doing my whole life? You know what I mean? A lot of people are, you know,
I follow you.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Super Bowl. I know nothing of the Super Bowl. I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. I have no interest in the Super Bowl, even if Bad Bunny wasn't going to be there. And that's how a lot of people are when it comes to news and politics. So, you know, so a lot of it's just ignorance, bad habits, and immorality. There's no good reason to be a Democrat.
Nope, there is not. Well, you have a good day and a good weekend. God bless everybody.
By the way, before you go, I want to say this. You know, Boca used to be a Democrat haven, and there's, you know, and you know, I live in Boca. Boca's becoming a Republican town like nobody's been, right? We got a Republican mayor. And I meet Republicans in Boca all the time. It used to be, I'd go to the phones from Boca, it would always be a Democrat. There's been a major change in Boca. I don't know if
I think that everybody's eyes are finally opening to what really is happening in our country and our world. And Trump has opened our eyes to this.
That's right.
Instead of lying to us or deceiving us for 4 years, you know, he's doing the right thing. Venezuela, Iran, everything that he's touching, he's doing correctly.
Absolutely. All right. Appreciate the call from Boca. All right. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Mike Purcell from Coral Springs.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning.
What's up, Mike in Coral Springs?
Hey, listen. Do me a favor. Put this guy Doc on after like 8 o'clock because I can't listen at 8 o'clock. Okay? I mean, the guy, he's really irritating, really annoying, and he really has a functioning problem with common sense. You know? When you were talking about, you really mature after having children.
Yeah.
I led one of the most hedonistic existences prior to, having a child. And, I'm right up there with St. Joseph right now. Okay. Not really. But listen, it does make a difference and things change. But the guy, he's typical liberal, always talking over you, getting really, really excited and not letting you speak. It's just annoying, man.
Well, that's true with most Democrats. I mean, you hear when I have conversations, how many of the Democrats have a proper conversation where they take turns?
Right. They always get hysterical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the thing about this thing about kids, I'm glad that Doc's not a parent. I wouldn't want him spreading his liberalism to children. But
that's true.
But this thing about maturing with parents. When I was doing this show when I was like 19 or 20 and I was on the air, there were guys at the radio station that were the age I am now. And they were like, who do you think you are, 19, 20 years old? What do you know to be talking about these things? And at the time, I just thought they were jerks. But now as I grow older, I realize, I probably didn't know what I was talking about. There's a movie. How old are you?
I'm 71 this month.
Oh, well, you're much older than me. But there's a movie. I watched this movie a few years ago called Less Than Zero, and it's with Robert Downey Jr., and it's an 80s movie, and he plays a rich kid from Beverly Hills who's hooked on drugs. And there's this scene in the movie where he breaks into his dad's house because he needs some money for drugs. And his dad and his brother throw him out. And when I saw that movie in the 80s, when I was a teenager, and I thought to myself, man, his dad and brother, what jerks they are. How are they treated? And now as an adult, a parent, and I see that same scene, I think to myself, oh my goodness, What must Robert Downey Jr. have put his dad through and his family through that has them throwing him out of the house? You know, you get a whole parenting. Parenting matures you, and you get proper perspective on so many things.
Absolutely. And that wasn't much of a stretch for Robert Downey anyway.
No, he was playing himself basically in that at the time. Yeah. Now listen, something else. The other day, you referenced Fatty Arbuckle. Yes.
I spit coffee out of my nose.
Fatty Arbuckle.
Where did you come up with that obscure reference?
I don't remember what the conversation was. Fatty, for those that don't know. Oh, Epstein. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about hedonism and immorality in Hollywood. Fatty Arbuckle was a major movie star in the silent film era, and he was at a wild hedonist party in Los Angeles, and he killed a girl, and it was believed that he crushed her during sex. And he was put on trial for murder, and then his career had to go to Europe, and what I was talking about is Hollywood's always been immoral. It's not just now that Hollywood people are immoral. They've always been disgusting perverts, even in the silent film era.
Yeah, they're like a leper colony.
Always. Yeah, they were probably worse back then than now. They were just protected.
Right.
Yeah, Fatty Arbuckle. Right. Yeah, look up Fatty Arbuckle. Poor Fatty Arbuckle. He was fat, all right.
I didn't know all that about him. One more thing. Traveling north on 95. If you're above Boca, your station is 106.9. I found you.
Oh, 106.9. Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
all right.
Just so you know. All right, man. Love the show.
All right. Well, we love you, all our listeners. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break of the first hour. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game. Don't forget, guys, it's tax season, and you want to call Jamie Levac. You know, one thing about Jamie Levac from Swift Tax, I was talking to him on the show yesterday. He loves doing taxes. He just loves it. You know, I've known accountants in my life. I've never known one who loves doing it. And when he's not doing someone's taxes, he's studying taxes and learning about taxes, and all he talks about is taxes. That's why he knows the new tax code inside and out so well. Listen, you want to get all the deductions you're entitled to under the law, and you want to get the maximum return that you're entitled to. Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He can handle your taxes no matter where you're located. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. Call or text 954-773-1587. And remember, with Jamie Levac, you can get your return in as little as 24 hours. Give him a call. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, guys, stand by, okay? Our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom Laporta, what a class act, the workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com.
All right, we'll be back shortly. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We are in radio station break right now for about 90 seconds, and we'll be back. Let me see what time. Yeah, about 90 seconds, and we'll be back. And it is Open MAGA Mic Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. Oh, yes, I do want to mention that. I do have some stories I want to bring up. All right. Just over a minute, and we'll be back. Yeah, Fatty Arbuckle. Poor guy. He did come back to Hollywood many years later, but it was a scandalous trial. I was probably talking about these celebrities with the Grammys. Celebrities have always been low-life, morally reprehensible scumbags. They just always have. That's right. It's not Vegas, it's Los Angeles. That's the devil's playground. That's Sin City. All right, about 30 seconds and we'll be back. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Give me a yes or no in the chat. Are you going to watch the Super Bowl? I'm not talking about the halftime, the Super Bowl. I just couldn't care at all about that. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City.
Hey, Scott. What's up?
Well, I just want to quickly finish a conversation that I didn't get to finish because you had to go early in the week.
Okay.
We were talking about a narrative that you were talking about where you're saying crime is up in cities because of illegal aliens. And that might be. And that might be in my KC. But mainly, and let me just quickly tell you the reasons that we do have an uptick here of crime. Could be the economy, yeah. But we also have a super stupid woke government on par with Seattle or San Fran that is more friendly to criminals than police. And we're down 400 police, and nobody's coming into the academy. Nobody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And most of the crime is in the urban core, not in basically traditional immigrant areas, which is where I live.
Well, listen, nationwide, crime is at its lowest level in 125 years, and that goes for murders as well. That doesn't mean that crime is down everywhere, but nationwide it's down to its lowest level in 125 years, which is half of the age of our country, courtesy of Donald Trump's immigration policies. It shows you how much crime the illegals have been doing, right?
Well, I beg pardon, sir?
It shows you how much crime the illegals have been doing, because that's been the big change this year. I'm sorry it's not down in Kansas City.
Well, we've always had a rough time here.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis is we only feel good because St. Louis is worse.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, Scott. All right. Take care. Have a good one. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Texas.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
I said I'm from Texas.
All right, Texas. Here we go. Yes, Texas.
I just wanted to call in and say that doc guy, he don't know.
Yeah.
He don't know.
What kind of accent is this?
Parent.
What kind of accent do you have? That doesn't sound like a Texan accent.
Well, Texas is a very big state. You know, we have an East Coast, we have the South, we have the North, we have the West.
Well, your
Texas is
accent
very
sounds
big.
more like a Mexican accent, like I'm talking to Selena or something.
That's kind of funny.
Don't you hear
I don't
it?
know why you like,
At the end where you said funny,
I don't
yeah,
know why
very.
you're coming at me like that.
I'm not coming at you. I'm just talking about your accent.
Well, I'm trying to explain to you that Texas is a very big state, so there's a lot of different people from a lot of different areas. Even if you're from Houston, you're going to talk different. From
That is
someone
true.
From Dallas, and
That-
if you're from
that
Dallas,
is true.
you're going to talk different from someone in Baltimore.
You just have an accent that I think to most Americans would sound as if. Are you Hispanic?
Yes.
See, there you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
I'm saying.
So I wasn't. So I don't know why you're getting so offended. I mean, you probably.
I'm not getting offended. It's just like I was talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that dog guy, he don't know much. You got to be a parent. Once you become a parent, like your head just kind of clears.
That's correct.
Like before that, you're walking hazy, and then you hold your child, and life just kind of opens up.
It changes everything. It does. It's nothing you can explain. It's a switch inside you is flipped. It's called adulthood. All right. Appreciate the call. All right. Take care. Oh, man. I wanted to talk a minute before I get back into the politics about the Savannah Guthrie missing mother thing. I watched the press conference with the sheriff yesterday. I don't know what the deal is with that sheriff. Isn't he a strange dude? He is a strange man. But so far as I watched it, because I'm interested in it, But there's two elephants in the room, and I'm listening to this press conference, and the reporters that we have today are just not reporters. I want you to think about it. President Trump's been on the scene for 11 years now, going on 12, right? When did he come down the escalator? What was the exact date? So he's been on the scene a long time, and we've talked about the fake news. The media, see, stories like this, missing people and that went national, there used to be stories like this that took the nation over and took the dialogue over. The Girl in the Well, Natalie Holloway, Elizabeth Smart, all these stories, OJ, all these stories that would take the nation by storm. And we had reporters that asked real questions or went and did some investigating. And these reporters are brain dead. There's two elephants in the room, and I'm waiting for someone. There's a few things, by the way, during that press conference. First question is, how could you not have roped off that crime scene? Why did you let everyone trample? An Amazon driver delivered a package to the house after the story became national and walked right up on the porch where the blood is. I mean, that crime scene's so contaminated, the incompetence. The other big question is, because it's Arizona and Savannah Guthrie's mother is so liberal, trashing Trump on Facebook and everything, about illegals in the area. I haven't seen no one asked about, is it possible the illegals in the area that maybe she had working for her had anything to do with it? No stories on the number of illegals in the area by any of the media. No questions about the son-in-law at all during the press conference yesterday. And it really shows how dumbed down our media have become. They can't even think critically. They can't think logically. The purpose of a college education used to be, depending, to obviously you learn some skills and trades in college, but college one of the big benefits of a college education, and most people that are in media are college educated. In the old days, what college did was rewire your brain so that you could think. And a lot of people gripe the first 2 years of college are like advanced high school courses, right? Math and science requirements that seem ridiculous and have nothing to do with your major. And they can be frustrating, when you're in college. But what they do is it gets your mind thinking about things. The reason you learn algebra and geometry and all that, which seems kind of stupid in so many ways, and why do you even need to know this stuff, is because it rewires your brain to think. Critical thinking. That's right. And I'm listening to these people in the media. I watched that whole press conference with the sheriff and the FBI agents yesterday. I didn't hear one decent question from one person in the media. You know, they're just stupid, uneducated people that don't even know their own trade. And there was a lot of complaining from people saying nothing came out of that press conference. Some things did come out of the press conference, but the reason the press conference was so uneventful is because the media are just, they're not capable of even thinking. They're brain dead, like all the other liberals out there, and can't ask any great questions. And all the press are doing there is standing in front of the House waiting for news to come to them. They're not going to the local area and finding where the illegals are. They're not even walking down the street looking for cameras on the neighbors' houses. And, you know, in the past when we've had these missing people stories or national crime stories that went national, in the days when you had real news people, they would find areas to explore, or the press conferences would get very uncomfortable for the cops. But we have brain dead reporters, and the national media are there now asking the questions. It's really sad. We're sending this rocket to the moon. It's amazing we still have people with enough brain power to send rockets to the moon, with how dumbed down this country's population has become. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank. What's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you and your family. Now here's one of our listeners, Frances, sharing her experience of how attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account, savings, and a house and a car for my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate, and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there, and they sat with me, and we went over everything. And I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney, Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. If you enjoy dark, atmospheric stories filled with mystery, power, and hidden truths, The Drowned Covenant is a book you should know about. Available now on Amazon KDP. The Drowned Covenant pulls readers into a world shaped by secrets, sacrifice, and a pact that was never meant to surface again. As the story unfolds, old loyalties are tested,
tested and buried truths begin to rise. This book is perfect for readers who love immersive storytelling, morally complex characters, and stories where every choice carries a cost. If you're looking for a gripping read that stays with you long after the final page, The Drowned Covenant is available now on Amazon.
All right, stand by, guys. Less than a minute, we'll be back. We're still in radio station break. I had to get up in the middle of the night to do something, and so I've been up since midnight, because I had to get up for something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but not that it was anything, just something with the... And I can't go back to sleep when I got to be on the air so early. So I've been up since about midnight. So, ugh. But I'm wide awake. I mean, I don't mind. Stand by. 15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian, and it is Open MAGA Mike Friday. That's what we call open phones. And on Friday's show, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience. Monday through Thursday, you got to talk about what we're talking about. But Friday, it's up to you guys. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
You know,
I was just thinking. I would tell you, this is a funny thing, okay? Well, at least it's funny to me.
Good.
It may not be funny to you or the audience. My phone's blowing up here, right? I got all the and I did not take this. This is not the calls in the order in which they were received, because I lost a little track there. And I took a call at random, and I thought to myself, I'm taking this call for random. Is it going to be Doug? And sure enough, man, I wish if they had your name, Conservative Doug, on the roulette wheel in the casino on our cruises, I'd never leave the casino. I'd always bet on Conservative Doug, because I always land on you. I mean, it's crazy.
You got the vibes that I was waiting.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just how it is. Anyway, Doug, what's on your mind? I don't know.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Crazy.
As you know, the government from time to time is able to do things to us that are unconstitutional, as long as it's on a temporary basis. All right, kind of like what they did when you couldn't go to church because you had to, even though you're social distancing. The Patriot Act.
Remember that.
The first income tax was put on.
Remember when that county sheriff over in Tampa arrested a preacher for having church services during the lockdown? I couldn't believe that happened in America.
Exactly. They can do state things somehow. I looked at it. I don't know how they do it, but they supposedly
emergencies.
On a temporary. All right. Well, I think if they can do it for everybody else, they can certainly put in a temporary act and let President Trump run again and not have to amend the Constitution. If they can do this, then for everything else, why can't they do it for President Trump?
Yeah.
I say make a temporary act that stop the provision in the Constitution that says you can't run for 2 terms, and then we'll have President Trump in again. Yeah. And if it's unconstitutional, too bad. Anyway, the last thing I want to say for everybody, you were talking about some insurance before. This is like a public announcement. I call every year at the end of my auto insurance to see, because the rates change so much, and I wind up usually finding out that my company is too high, so I switch around. Anyway, I found a lower cost, so I called the insurance company I have, and they said, "You're going to let me go, or you want to lower the price?" I said, there is in the state of Florida. The companies that made too much money, we have a fund here that we have to give back on to the customers because we made too much money. I said, so what are you going to do for me? They took off over $900 on my policy because if you don't answer it, you don't get it. So everybody needs to call their insurance company.
Oh, was that auto insurance or homeowners?
Well, this is just the auto insurance.
Oh,
I don't know
auto
about homeowners, but maybe it's homeowners too. I haven't tried. I'm going to do that today.
Why is your insurance so high? You got your kids on your policy?
I got 5 cars and too many.
Oh,
too many,
white people
insurance.
problems. White people problems. 5 cars.
Too much. But anyway, there were big savings, and so I didn't switch. So if everybody calls, apparently they don't have to give to everybody. You have to call to get it. So I got it, and hopefully everybody will do it.
All right,
but
anyway,
right.
Appreciate the call, Doug. All right, take care. Always bet on conservative Doug. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Bernie.
Hey,
This is Richie.
Hey, what's up?
You know, you started your show, I believe you were talking about the Democrat demands.
Yes, on ICE.
What they want ICE.
Yes,
where they want ICE.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, the polling place, I remember in Philadelphia.
Wait a second. Is this
the Democrats when they had Black Lives Matter out there with weapons?
It was the Black Panthers with a baseball bat in front of the polling location.
Right.
It was live on Fox. Remember that? Yes.
Yeah, dressed like they were in combat.
I remember that with a baseball bat. That was a long time ago. Shepard Smith was still on Fox, and he was covering it. And I remember Shepard Smith, as liberal as he is, he's like, "What is going on there?" I mean, why did somebody go arrest that guy? Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and then to have ICE by schools, they're not arresting little kids; they're arresting illegal parents. Let me say this: I'm a very funny person. I've lived a long life because I've managed to stay out of situations. In other words, I wouldn't walk up to a security guard and start spitting and screaming in his face and cursing him out because I don't know whether the guy's unhinged or not, and he's sitting there with a weapon. I'm not going to sit there in front of a police officer and with an automobile that weighs 4,000 pounds and decide to gun it and with police all around me. I'm not going to do that. I don't put myself in a position to get out of a vehicle with a loaded weapon, going into a police activity and infiltrating it. You know, when I drove a bus, they used to say, stay away from these areas. There's a police action going on.
Yeah.
You don't do it. So when President Trump is being a little diplomatic when he says that they shouldn't have died. No, they shouldn't have died. But the reason they're dead is because they're not like me. They're not sitting at home. They're out there causing
there's
problems.
These anti-ICE people in Minneapolis, they're still at it. They're doing 2 things. One,
I saw it last night again.
These white liberals are going up to these ICE officers and calling them the N-word. And there's no reporting on. Somebody uses the N-word. Usually the media go nuts, but their anti-ICE white liberals are throwing the N-word around in the face of these ICE officers, not even reporting it. I mean, I've never seen a free pass given to the N-word, and these are white liberals saying the N-word, by the way, to the ICE officers. They're trying to get themselves shot. They're trying to get the officers to react. The other one is, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this, that there's anti-ICE people that are making their own cul-de-sacs in the middle of the road that they can see who's coming, slow down the traffic so they can get the license plate of the feds. I mean, what do these people think they are?
They're vigilantes. The whole city of Minneapolis, including the politicians, of vigilantes.
Richie, if you and I, what would happen if you and I went on 441 and set up a cul-de-sac? We'd be in jail so quick.
We'd be arrested.
Yeah, and rightly so, by the way.
It's Florida, though. If we did it together in Minnesota, we'd get away with it.
Yeah, maybe.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
And not for nothing. I believe, and this is my call is this: I don't believe President Trump won a landslide this country. I don't think that we have to negotiate with these. They're holding us hostage with their crony gangs that they set up.
Yeah.
With their what do they call these organizations that get paid and they're all being paid.
NGOs, the non-governmental organizations.
All these NGOs and all this garbage that's going on and all the theft and everything else. And we have to sit there and negotiate with these animals? No, there's no negotiation. And they're threatening President Trump that when he's out of office, if a Democrat gets in there, they're gonna hold everyone accountable. Accountable to what?
Yeah.
These 2 people that died. I'm sorry they died. nobody deserves to die, but if they stayed home, they would be
Well,
alive.
you do
And they
things.
got
You
involved.
listen.
And-
Like right now, I'm wearing this hat that says MAGA on it, really super big, right? If I wore this hat, I was in Fort Lauderdale the other day, and I was driving on Sunrise Boulevard, just east of I-95. Pretty scary, man. I mean, it was like Escape from Here. If I was walking down the sidewalk with this MAGA hat over there, I wouldn't make it. Okay, I wouldn't make it. I'd be done. Okay, and what would people say? Well, how stupid are you to wear that MAGA
You know
hat?
what they would say over there?
You got
They'd
what you
say
deserved.
You deserved it.
Yeah, because you should know
That's
better than to
exactly-
wear that MAGA. So the same is true if you bring a gun and you start a fight with federal agents, you might get shot, right?
If you stand in front of them and you last night at 11:45 when I went to sleep, I was watching a YouTuber who broadcasts this stuff in Minnesota. There was about 500 animals, and they are animals with banging drums, blowing horns, trying to create so the ICE officers couldn't get sleep. It was in front of, I believe, a Marriott again.
Yeah.
And finally, a load of cops came out, and finally they only arrested a handful, but they got them out of there finally at 11:45 at night. Now this is not normal. To stand out in 5-degree temperature, banging on drums to keep people up.
That's
because
right.
You don't like
All right,
what
Richie,
they're
I gotta
doing.
run for the break, but good points. I agree with everything you said. Take care. I was reading this article this morning. This is in CNBC. Listen to this. Some older Americans are unretiring. This is a new word. I've never heard of this before. Some older Americans are unretiring to keep up with the cost of living. This is a new survey put out by the AARP. In the past 6 months, 7% of retirees have re-entered the labor force. Wow. The top reason they cited for unretiring was they need money. They don't have enough money coming in. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas. Talk to him about annuities. With an annuity, you're guaranteed an income stream every single month, forever. All right? And coming out of retirement, oh my goodness, that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough for people. Give Joe Thomas a call. The consultation's free, and you can take advantage of that no matter where you're located. And if you can make it to his office in person in Jupiter, please do. But if you can't make it to his office, you can also take advantage of the no-charge consultation over the phone or through Zoom. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. All right, there's one opening on the board, so if you're on hold, stand by. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're clear. I wanted to play this. Listen to this. This is a CNN poll on the future of MAGA.
When it comes to the GOP.
This is awesome.
CNN's chief data reporter, Harry Enton, is here to run the numbers. So how much power, and we're talking about influence here, do they have on the GOP, especially over the long run?
Yeah, over the long run. That's what I think is so important here. And it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the Make America movement. Again, that's what we're talking about, Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here. GOP who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago, when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans who view the Make America Great Again movement favorably. So we're talking about something that, in my opinion, will very much be able to outlast Donald Trump. Trump is in term number 2. He can't run for a term number 3. But the bottom line is this. What he brought into the GOP looks like it's going to last long beyond him.
It's a very populist movement. I am
Yes,
curious
it
because
is.
J.D. Vance would then be the next standard bearer of this movement. Where is the GOP on how they feel about him?
Yeah, okay. So, obviously J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, at this point looks like a favorite for the Republican nomination come 2028. And one of the reasons why he looks like a favorite is because the Republican base loves J.D. Vance. What are we talking about here? Someone who really represents the Make America Great Again movement. This is somebody, a year ago, his favorable rating among Republicans, 81%. Latest Marquette University Law School poll, look at this. 84%.
Oh,
84%.
awesome.
So if anything, his favorable rating is somewhat up from where it was a year ago.
This is amazing. CNN.
After a year of Trump, and of course that matches what we see when it comes to MAGA, right? It matches what we see coming to MAGA, whereby it was 74 and now it's 78%. If anything, MAGA's grip on the GOP, and it seems like the next in line to be the next standard bearer of MAGA, both of them, their favorable ratings are actually up after a year of Donald Trump's second term.
So could we extrapolate that there are no cracks in the way in which they feel about Donald Trump and his power?
Yeah.
When it comes
Isn't that amazing? And that's CNN, liberal source. Oh, man. Is this the woman that was Jean-Pierre's girlfriend? By the way, is that Julianne Malveaux? Was she Jean-Pierre's girlfriend? I think they broke up. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back in just over 1 minute. Just over 1 minute. All great stories. Things are going well. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Oh, man. Things could not be going better. Where am I going next? Oh, yes. Oh, it must really pain some of the people over at CNN that they have to broadcast the news. What is it that Rush used to call those? Accidental cases of journalism? We got about 30 seconds. We'll be back. Yeah, going into the midterms, we're doing well. All right, stand by. 15 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from Seattle.
All right, Seattle. What's on your mind?
So you were talking about press earlier.
Yes. The media, the fake news media, correct.
Yeah. So, I don't really understand how you are thinking that, I don't really understand what you mean by they're not doing their jobs correctly. I just want to, inquire about that.
The media, what the media used to do was go out and investigate and interview people. And I was talking in particular about the Savannah Guthrie's mother kidnapping story with the blood all over the place, right? In that story, we've seen two things. Reporters in front of the house and reporters in that room with that idiotic sheriff asking him questions. Oh, he hung up. I guess it was too much of a... we haven't seen anything off of that street. I haven't seen any reporters go and interview neighbors, people at nearby stores, or even show the community to see what kind of people are around that community. I'm watching the press conferences, and I haven't heard any questions that were deep at all. Nothing. That's what I'm talking about. All right. He was nervous. That's okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Larry, I'm from Texas.
Yes, Larry. What's on your mind?
I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. Whenever I was,
that's not how it works.
About
you're calling me. You got to have something on your mind. You some comment. I'm not here to pitch stories to you.
Is that it? But anyway, what I was thinking about was the why nobody wants to call what they're doing. Like whenever you're, because they're demonstrating insolence against law enforcement. Once you bring a firearm to do that, it technically becomes an insurrection.
Correct. Yeah.
If you want to look at the
Minnesota's in a state of insurrection against the federal government. That is correct.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate thing because a lot of these people are essentially being used as political pawns. like this Alex Pretty guy. I mean, that's the real moral tragedy of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know why a lot of nobody on TV or nobody on the right seems to want to call it that, though.
I've been calling it that since it began. It's basically been the Confederate state of Minnesota. Now, Tom Homan, President Trump talked to Tim Walz, and it's calmed down a lot. Tom Homan went there, met with Waltz and Fry, and has gotten control of the situation quite a bit. But there's still some of these loons that are running around. But there's been major arrests. They've made multiple arrests in that church break-in that Don Lemon was in. The Antifa general that was calling to kill ICE agents was arrested yesterday, the one with the tattoos on his face. So there's been there's been a big roundup of these insurrectionists. And it's still going on.
I applaud you for calling it that. I applaud you for calling it that, because I really just called in. I didn't really know much about who you are, what your show is.
Keep listening wherever you're watching or listening, and you'll get hooked. This is the best show anywhere. I promise you.
Well, one thing about Don Lemon, do you remember on the, I don't know, years back, he was on the New Year's Eve broadcast. He pierced his nipple live got drunk and pierced his nipple live on air.
CNN's New Year's Eve. He was at a bar in New Orleans doing tequila shots. And he was so drunk, he was talking about his love life and how all the guys couldn't keep a man, and it was really rough. Yeah, it was fun to watch. I kind of missed drunk Don Lemon.
I wouldn't go far to call it fun to watch, but
yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch that. He would be drunk, Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen saying stupid things, and then they come back the next week and they're trying to be on the moral high ground against our greatest president, Donald Trump. It cracks me up.
Yeah, it is pretty silly. One other topic we could talk about is the whole Epstein thing, because I kind of feel like I have a different perspective on it that nobody really kind of sees what's going on. I really think that Trump injected this story back into the media, like intentionally. That's what started this whole thing off, or restarted the whole conversation. Because back in May, that Wall Street Journal reporter asked him at the press conference if Bondi had told him that his name appeared in the Epstein files. Mm-hmm. And his response was kind of weird. He said no, for why are we talking about this? Epstein's dead. And which kind of I felt like the same way. Like I didn't really expect anything to come out of the whole investigation, and I'm just glad he was dead. But the whole thing was just kind of weird, because immediately after that reporter asked him, the lead prosecutor, James Comey's daughter, Maureen? Mm-hmm. She was immediately fired after the reporter asked him that question. Mm-hmm. And it seemed an awful lot like that was like a piece of disinformation that was leaked out by her, and they knew exactly who the rat was immediately, because...
Oh, you mean they were trying to smoke out leakers? Yeah, that's possible.
That's kind of what I felt about the whole thing. It seemed like really, because I mean, if you look at what was leaked to begin with, assuming it was a leak, it was possibly like one of the most banal and redundant pieces of information as far as reporting news is concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is like, because I mean, Trump already knew his name appeared in the files. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was there was that FBI investigator that went on TV.
Well, listen, I'm up against the break, so I got to run. But I appreciate the call. Keep listening and call again sometime. One call per show, but I'm here every day.
Sure thing. See you.
All right, welcome. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. It's Friday. By the way, Dr. Appleton is open on Saturdays, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. But don't start the weekend in pain. It's another one of those cold days. It was like 43 degrees when I left the house this morning. And those were the days where I was in so much pain with my arthritis and all that. Before Dr. Appleton rid me of pain, don't go through the weekend in pain. Stop living in pain. Stop living with pain. You do not have to. His laser wave pain treatment repairs the damage that's causing the pain. There's no shots, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. And of course, the best part is it works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by, guys. Oh, pretty good calls today. The Open MAGA Mike Friday has started off well.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit DivineEscapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, DivineEscapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at DivineEscapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com. All
right, about 20 seconds and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. All right. 15 seconds. Pretty good calls today, I must say. We've started off pretty well. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, David from Chicago.
Hey, David.
Hi. First off, I want to say, some things that I'm glad that Trump did. How he turned back Roe versus Wade and brought it back to the states. He couldn't abolish it altogether, but at least he got that. He's the thing that he's doing with illegals. I think they should be deported if they didn't come here legally and they're not paying taxes. But at the same time, I spoke with you a while back about how he said he wasn't going to demolish the wing, and you said that possibly it was because there was a bunker over there, and he couldn't disclose that. So I'll give you that.
I was right about that, wasn't I? Wasn't I proven right about the bunker under the East Wing? That's why they're doing it. They're building a new bunker. They just released it the other day that they're doing that.
Oh, yeah?
I was right.
See,
they released it about a week ago. They said that they're rebuilding the presidential bunker under the White House, and it's under the East Wing. I was right about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. I think you're contradicting yourself, because if he didn't want to disclose that it was there, then by the same token, they wouldn't disclose it now.
He didn't disclose it. It leaked out.
Oh, it leaked out? Okay. Then I guess you can give him that. The thing, though, I have a gripe with, I personally have a classmate that I grew up with back in high school. She used to help me out, nice girl. She was working as a foreign ambassador, And with the whole, Elon Musk, how he's doing all the cuts, and I'm sure a lot of them were good, they cut her position, and then they hired some not counselors, what's the other word? Consultants.
Yeah.
And they're literally charging to do the same job that she did, and she was a person that was in it for, she was getting paid good, but she did it, with heart. And she helped me a lot too when I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
And they replaced her with consultants that are like 10 times more expensive than what she was doing, how much she was getting paid for.
Okay.
So there's some things that, they sometimes they just kind of, do an axe where they should be doing a scalpel.
Okay.
So,
well, Elon Musk, when Elon Musk was at Doge, he said they're going to make mistakes. It's too big of a job.
Yeah, I'm not faulting him. There's no president that has been perfect,
President Trump is pretty perfect. President Trump's pretty perfect.
Well, remember we talked how in that video with the when he said grab the women by the whatever.
He didn't say that.
Admitted that
he didn't say that.
Well, no, he said that you could.
No,
but before
he
that,
didn't say. He didn't say
that. In the same video, though, he did say that he wanted to F a married woman, and we both agreed that was something that
he
was
didn't
not
say
good.
that either.
This was a while back.
He didn't say that either. He didn't say that either.
No, he in the same video.
What he said was, you're talking about the Access Hollywood video with Billy Bush, and they probably, and what he had said was, it's my first time. He had the #1 show on TV at the time, The Apprentice, and he said this is my first time in Hollywood since I had the #1 TV show. And he says, the women in Hollywood, is what he was saying was this, are such floozies that when you're famous, they'll even let you grab them by the blank so they can be on your TV show. When the woman was walking up who was a soap opera star, he's like, wow, he was talking with Billy Bush about how hot she was. That's how guys talk. I mean, so what? And he wasn't president then.
I'm not faulting him for that because
I'm sorry that he's hetero.
I get it, but as a Christian, you shouldn't be talking like that. But you also, in that same video,
really,
about
so
a minute
what should
that,
Christians be? What should Christians be doing when it comes to being judgmental against others, like you're doing right now?
No, I'm just pointing out a fact that you're not supposed to be doing that as a Christian.
What are you supposed to be doing as a Christian when it comes to being judgmental about people?
That doesn't mean you can't point out stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. I'm not judging him because I think a lot of people do that.
Have you ever been around TV or movie actors or actresses?
No, I don't think so.
I have. Okay, many times.
Oh, I agree. Hollywood is very messed up.
And when you're around actors and actresses, they are the best looking people you've ever seen, especially the women, right? They're the best looking people you've ever seen. So sometimes guys get a little crazy and say things.
Yeah.
But he didn't say or do anything he didn't violate anyone.
Well, first off, I don't. If I was in his position, I'm not saying that I'd be any better. That if I was come to that temptation.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen. I appreciate the call. All right. You take care. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. This is Dave, Pennsylvania.
Hey, Dave. What's up?
Oh, I was going to call about the Democrats, but you pretty much covered everything that I was going to bring up today. But
sorry.
No problem. I was going to answer your question about if I was going to watch the Sanctuary City Bowl.
Oh, the Super Bowl? Yeah.
Yeah. About 80% I probably will, but not the halftime show. Because, number one, I haven't watched a halftime show in a while because I'm not into that kind of music. I don't know who these people are. I used to like it when The Who, Tom Petty, Rolling Stones.
Oh my! I cannot stand Tom Petty. I mean, that's my generation. I've never liked Tom Petty, and I hate that song "Free Fallin'." And when he played at the Super Bowl, I said, "Oh, I hope he doesn't play Free Fallin'." Then he was Free Fallin'. Oh my goodness! I remember the video, the girl on the skateboard ramp. I hate that song, and I can't stand Tom Petty. Tom Petty sucks.
The one song I don't like of him.
That's like his biggest hit. He always plays it.
Yeah. So instead, I'm gonna revisit, which I hope everyone would remember since the Super Bowl weekend. The best performance, in my opinion, for a Super Bowl was when Whitney Houston sang the Star Spangled Banners when after 9/11. That was amazing. I still get chills and goosebumps after that performance. That was.
You know, I used to like. You got to turn the volume down on whatever you're listening to me on, because I'm echoing in the background. Can you turn the volume down?
Oh, I don't have a TV on.
You have something on, because I can hear myself in the background. All right, I got to let you run. I lost all interest in Whitney Houston when she was married to Bobby Brown. Do any of you remember when Bobby Brown got arrested here in Broward County? And he was married to Whitney Houston, and she would hang out in front of the jail all the time talking to the press. And that's when she made that comment, crack is whack. That was in Broward County. And I think it might have been in front of the stockade on Hammondville Road. It might have been in front of there. It's been a long time. And when I saw what Whitney Houston was really like when she was here in Broward with her husband, Bobby Brown, at the time, I lost all interest in Whitney Houston. I mean, she was really, I'm sorry she's gone, but remember she said crack is whack? That was right here in Broward County, yeah. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Fuck you.
All right, there you go. First one of the day, Mike. There you go. If you're on hold, stand by as we wait for the delay to re-engage. I wonder which one of the previous callers that was, that it didn't go quite their way. Oh, man. If you're on hold, hang in there. The open phone, Open MAGA Mike Friday so far has gone pretty well. We're more than halfway through the program. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. And that gives me an opportunity to talk about coastal weight loss secret. Oh, man. You know, I hear from so many listeners that have lost weight, a lot of weight, thanks to coastal weight loss secret. It's amazing that not only does it work, that you don't have to take any shots, you don't have to take any pills, you don't have to starve yourself and go hungry all the time. You can eat real food, and you don't have to do any exercising either, because that's what I did. And I've kept the weight off all this time. I have not gained back a single ounce. It's really amazing. And you know, the thing about losing weight, what I've learned about losing weight is a couple things. One, well, I look better. I like how I look, but I feel better. And I have more energy. I'm not as tired as I used to be because, well, I'm not carrying around so much weight. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret and set up your no-charge consultation. You know, you can lose weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret no matter where you are located in the world. They can help you, okay? If you're here in South Florida, you're more than welcome to go into the office and meet with Dr. Zuckerman in person like I did. Dr. Zuckerman is awesome. He's great. But if you're not in town, you can do everything over the phone or through Zoom, okay? 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right? Okay, we'll take another call or two before the break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Todd from Lantana. How you doing?
All right. Lantana. Is that what you said?
Lantana.
Wayne-Tana. Where's Wayne-Tana?
Lantana.
Oh, Lantana. I know where Lantana
yeah.
is. I thought you said Wayne-Tanta. Okay, Lantana. I know where Lantana is. Yeah, of course. What's on your mind, Lantana?
I want to talk about Roger Goodell and this halftime choice he made.
Yeah.
It just seems like, you know, why would he? I watch football to get away from politics.
Yes.
And he's making this political. And if you don't think that he's not a left winger by now, he needs to go more neutral with his pick the next time.
Well, you know what it really is. He's abusing the fans. You're right. He's a liberal jerk who in his private life just must be a freak show. I mean, the things he's doing, you know, the NFL has weathered some storms, right? With the take a knee and all that stuff. And his assumption is that football fans are so addicted to football that they can abuse them and insult them as much as they want, and the fans will stick with the teams. And it's really sad. It's really sad. Yeah.
I'd like to see. I'm not gonna watch. So I'm gonna do something else. I usually watch the Super Bowl every year, but
let me ask you this though. But let me ask you this as an example. You know, everyone's making a big deal about Bad Bunny. I don't care about the halftime shows. You know what I really don't care about are the Super Bowl commercials. You know, and I will be live on Monday. You will not hear me talk about the Super Bowl commercials. Okay, I hate that. I hate when people do that. But you know, before Roger Goodell was the commissioner, remember when they had Michael Jackson singing in the halftime? Remember that?
No.
This was a long time ago. This was a long time ago. This was in the 90s. Michael Jackson, who everybody had all these allegations against him with children, sang at the Super Bowl surrounded by little kids. And I'm thinking, are you kidding? You know? And for perspective, I've always been a great fan of Joe Namath, right? I've always wanted to meet Joe Namath. He lives here in South Florida forever, and I've never had the chance to meet Joe Namath. But when you think about Joe, do you know about Joe Namath? You old enough to know Joe Namath?
Oh, yeah, I'm 60.
Okay, you're 60. You're older than me. So when you think about Joe Namath and football, what do you think about?
I think about him standing on the sidelines with that furry
mink coat, a mink coat. So
that's what I remember.
Exactly, with mink coats and stuff on. So that may not sound like a big deal, but Joe Namath's a little bit before my time, guys. But I know the great Joe Namath, and that was probably kind of, I would imagine that was pretty controversial at the time. And it was the equivalent of being a cross-dresser probably at the time. You know, him wearing the mink coat on the sidelines in the winter. You understand what I mean?
The beginning of wokeness.
Yeah. So exactly. I'm not saying Joe Namath is woke. I mean, I everybody loves Joe Namath, right? But things are controversial in their time, and you see them in a different way. You know, and he used to wear like pantyhose and stuff, right? Like stockings and things like this. I mean, so some things are controversial in their time, and most controversies by, I don't care what celebrities think. When I was a kid, I cared what celebrities thought. Celebrities are stupid people, and you're right about Roger Goodell, though. He's a jerk. He's a liberal monster. He's got to be a complete psychopath in his personal life. And I've never seen someone run an organization and tell their consumer to kiss off as much as Roger Goodell does. It's insane.
He looked a little worried. He looked a little worried when he was talking. I saw an article on YouTube where he was talking, and he kind of looked like I think he made a bad choice. That's what it appeared to me, but. Like I said, I just want to see what the final numbers of a lot lot of people probably.
It's all publicity, like that time.
We all love what Trump's doing, and we're just. I wish somebody would get behind him once in a while.
Like when Janet Jackson flashed her boob, that wasn't an accident. With Justin Timberlake.
That's the one I remember that the most.
She did well. Yeah, that was. There's no way that wasn't planned, and I remember all these people were so upset by it, but come on. God, you wouldn't want to see her boobs now. But back then, she was, it was a different age. People were interested. So it wasn't, you know what I mean? Who cares who the halftime acts are? I mean, most people during the halftime, you go pee. Do you really even watch it?
Well,
do you really care?
Yeah.
That's the bathroom break.
I think Roger's taken a big, he might be making a big mistake if he Bad Bunny says something. That's what I'm sure they got. I'm sure they have like you have like that 5 seconds where to cut them off at.
Ours is longer than 5 seconds. I'm here.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's really I just don't care. I can't think of a halftime act that I've cared for. Like there's this thing they're having Green Day, right? And Green Day apparently they've taken they got this anti-MAGA song. They've taken one of their songs. Green Day. I remember when Green Day was new. And they're a little bit older than me, but Green Day was a great back in that grunge era. Green Day was one of the best. And what Green Day is doing by coming out anti-Trump, they're playing at the Super Bowl. They haven't aged with their audience. Bad Bunny's audience is different than Green Day. Green Day is doing something self-destructive because most people that are Green Day fans are like me. I Green Day, when they came out, they like, whoa, Green Day. Where did this sound come from? They were awesome. And now most of Green Day's fans are, Gen X like I am, and they're like, what are you doing, Green Day? What are you doing? Yeah. Bad Bunny is virtue signaling to his audience, which is our Spanish speakers, and that's what Spanish speakers want to hear. I can't get all worked up about it. Roger Goodell, but then again, I'm not a big football fanatic, so maybe that has something to do with it.
All right. Nice talking to you, man.
All right. Take care. I'm so late for the break. I lost track of time. We'll be right back. Oh, boy, did I lose track of time. I'm in big trouble.
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Okay, we got about, hold on, let me see. 2 minutes. 2 minutes and we'll be back.
Okay.
We got to be quick because I lost track of time. I went late on the break, so I'm really short.
I saw.
Yeah,
you're probably. Are you watching the Super Bowl? I'm not.
No. I might see the beginning of it if it's on TV, but I could care less. I couldn't care less.
I'll watch the TP USA halftime show, and that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not a big Kid Rock. I don't know any Kid Rock songs.
Same.
I'm not into Kid Rock. All right, hold on. Just over a minute.
Okay.
All right, hold on a sec. All right, you there, Ian?
I am.
Okay, about 30 seconds.
Okay.
I want to talk about that thing we brought up yesterday, and then there's two things I'm going to ask you about.
Okay.
I'll let you know on the show. All right, 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, and we are really just a few short weeks away from our 10th annual MAGA cruise on the Celebrity Beyond through the Caribbean. And on the line, Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, who is the travel agent for all of our MAGA cruises. Hey, Ian, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
There's a few things here. The reason we got you on today is yesterday, for those of you that have already made reservations, you can. What's the terminology that you use? I forgot the terminology.
You can check in online and select your boarding time.
Okay, this is very important because in the old days, when you would take a cruise, everybody for the ship would show up whenever they wanted to show up, which was usually at the same time. And now you actually get to pick a boarding time, and it's super awesome because it's not busy and it's not crowded. And you show up at the port and you walk right in and you walk right on the ship. And I've timed it, Ian, when my foot hits the curb till I have my first drink in my hand. I don't know, 12 minutes is about is about what it takes.
Yeah, it's pretty efficient.
Yes,
Depends on how much luggage you have, but it's pretty efficient.
I
yeah.
carry all my luggage on board. I don't check any luggage. I carry my luggage on board. And
same here.
Yeah, and 12 minutes is about the average of when I have my first drink. So how do people that are already have booked on the cruise, how do they check in?
Well, there's two ways to do it. You can log in to celebritycruises.com into my account, into your account, not my account, with a computer, which is my preferred method. The app is also pretty efficient. It allows you to scan your passport, and it'll auto-populate those fields. And then you select your boarding time, but you can actually select your boarding time before you put in your particulars, just to make sure that you get the party started early.
Yeah, and I picked my boarding time yesterday, but since it's my group with Steve and Ian here, I can get on board anytime. But I picked a time, and there's times throughout the day, and what happens is because they want it to go orderly, times will fill up. So you want to go there right now, guys. I did it on the Celebrity Cruise Line app. You want to pick it now so your chosen time does not fill up. And I like to get on board as early as possible because that's when the party begins.
That's when it begins. We have our beginning drink that we have every year, and then we go and make sure that all of our awesome activities are going to proceed nicely.
Yeah, and there's two other things I wanted to mention, Ian. On our first night, we have a get-together with everybody in our group, and we go over, we all get to meet, it's after dinner, and we go over the week activities. And can you tell people where we're going to be? So if you already have a reservation, you'll know where to go. You don't want to miss our first night get-together. Where are we going to be?
Well, I'm going to send out a schedule of events just to our group members to make sure we don't get any stowaways or anything like that. Yeah,
oh, yes.
Don't forget.
Oh, yes.
And our sail away party location, you got to show up with a drink in your hand. It's customary.
Yeah. And okay, so if you get an email, keep an eye on your email, guys, from Ian. I forgot. We don't announce where that is on the radio because some liberal stowaways have tried to bust into it on pretty much every cruise.
Every cruise, but this year it's a privatized venue. It's only our people, bouncers at the door. No, just kidding. Yeah. It's going to be great, though.
Well, there's been times when security has had to be called and people have been told they'll be sent to the brig. There's a brig on these cruise ships, by the way, guys, just to let you know. It is out there. Okay, yeah, so I forgot. We don't want it. It's a secret location, but it'll be coming in the email. The other thing, though, that I want to talk about is, while cabins are I don't know, I don't know what's left available, but if you've not made a reservation, call Ian today and see what is left on the ship. You're going to have a great time. This is our 10th cruise. This is our largest group yet, and we always have a great time. And we spend the whole cruise together if you choose to. We have a lot of onboard activities this year in a way we've never done before. We have dinner together every night. Our shore excursions are all privatized for our group only. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. And if you've not already booked on the shore excursions, do that. Ian can help you with that as well. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. All right, Ian, we'll talk soon.
Have a great weekend.
All right. Now, guys, I want to apologize. I took that last break very late. So I'm backed up on breaks. It's going to be a very short segment. It's my fault. I got a clock right in front of my eyes, and I just stopped looking at it, and I went late. So, but I'll take some calls here before we go. You're on to the top. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, sir. How you doing today, young man?
I'm well. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Marty. from Fort Lauderdale. Well, born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. I'm currently calling from the mountains of western North Carolina.
All right. What's on your mind, Marty?
I got 3 points about one topic that Trump really never fulfilled for us. Well, he said that every service member was going to get 1776, and I ran it through AI, and only a certain officer class and above got it. He also made a promise that every man, woman, and child was going to get $2,000, and that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Doge savings was supposed to be 20% back to the people, and none of that's ever happened.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, now first off, the second, first off, he's still president, and his term is not over, okay? I'm going to go in reverse order. Okay.
Okay, and I've gotten some of the same response. So I'd like
no. The last two things you said are the same, right? The $2,000 and the profits, for the tariffs. That's coming over the summer. Okay.
Okay.
And the military bonuses were paid. It was a Christmas bonus that was given in December.
He said all the service members. He said all the service members and only a certain officer class.
That's not true. That's not true. Whatever AI you're using is liberal. It went to one. It went to one point. It went to over. It went to about 1.5 million service members got that bonus in December. It was kind of like a Christmas bonus of $1,776, and that is going to become an annual thing. I promise you. But the bonuses that you're talking about, President Trump never promised a Doge bonus. That was something that started online that Elon commented on. President Trump never talked about a Doge bonus.
I remember Trump on TV saying, "What are we going to do? Give 20% back to the people?"
No, he never talked about a Doge bonus. He talked about getting all Americans getting a share of the profits from the tariffs, which we're going to get sometime over the summer, and it's going to be $2,000 a person, and rich people don't get it, but the service members got their $1,776 bonus. I don't know what AI you're using.
Okay.
Don't.
I mean, just so you know, I agree. It very possibly could be. I try to use Duck AI because it's supposed to be more like.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. Yeah, but no.
You heard of DuckDuckGo?
DuckDuckGo is liberal. DuckDuckGo is liberal. I know people think that DuckDuckGo is conservative. No, it is Duck. That's with a D. DuckDuckGo is very left-wing. All right, listen, I got to run for the top of the hour break. Take care. I'm glad he called because we got that out of the way. We'll be right back. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I love, it's such a funny thing. What is it? Oh, this is my daughter's cat. Let's see. Let me see what he wants. What do you want, Haku? What's up, man? Oh, okay. That is a smart cat. He basically speaks English. I mean, that is a smart cat. Stand by, guys. Oh, man. If you're on hold, stand by. I got some things I got to get into when we get back. All right, we'll be right back.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
All right, we got about a minute, and we'll be back. You know, it's really, you know, everything that guy said was untrue. You know, and the internet was supposed to make people smarter, more informed, more well-read, and it's the opposite. It's made them less informed. Could you? They only gave a bonus to high-ranking officers. All active duty got that bonus. It cranks me up. All right. We got about, what time are we coming back? Hold on, about 30 seconds. Less than 30 seconds, we'll be back. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. You know, that last caller, you know, everything he said was not true. And, you know, when the internet came out, you know, we thought everyone was going to be so much smarter, so well-informed. And what the internet has done is made people less informed. And a lot dumber. I mean, it really has. I'm not calling that guy dumb, but people aren't, you know, but there are more dumb people out there than there used to be. People just aren't well read or well informed. All active duty military personnel got that bonus. I mean, my goodness, he's going to AI asking questions. You know, it's a funny thing. When I'm talking to liberal callers, I'm really talking to AI. Because what they do is a lot of them are typing into AI as I'm talking to them. It's fun. It's really kind of funny, you know. And I don't know why AI is so liberal, but all the AIs are. I never heard of the one that he had used, but that's just the way it is. Now today is Friday, Open Phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday, and so far so good, with a couple of exceptions. We've had pretty good calls on Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I wanted to play this poll from CNN. This is a great poll. This is CNN yesterday. Listen.
When it comes to the GOP, CNN's chief data reporter, Harry Enten, is here to run the numbers. So how much power, and we're talking about influence here, do they have on the GOP, especially over the long run?
Yeah, over the long run. That's what I think is so important here.
Listen
and
to
it's
this.
not just about Donald Trump. It's about the Make America movement. Again, that's what we're talking about. Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here. GOP who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago, when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans who view the Make America Great Again movement favorably.
Okay, so this is part one. This is great. Here we are in the midterm election season. The approval rating of President Trump and the Make America Great Again movement among Republicans is up 4 points from 2 years ago. It's 78%. How do we not win the midterms with that?
So we're talking about something that, in my opinion, will very much be able to outlast Donald Trump. Trump is in term number 2. He can't run for a term number 3, But the bottom line is
so
this.
sure.
What he brought into the GOP looks like it's going to last long beyond him.
It's a very populist movement. I am curious because J.D. Vance would then be the next standard bearer of this movement. Where is the GOP on how they feel about him?
Yeah, okay. So, obviously J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, at this point looks like a favorite for the Republican nomination come 2028. And one of the reasons why he looks like a favorite is because the Republican base loves J.D. Vance. What are we talking about here? Someone who really represents the Make America Great Again movement. This is somebody a year ago, his favorable rating among Republicans, 81%. Latest Marquette University Law School poll, look at this. 84%. 84%. So if anything, his favorable rating is somewhat up from where it was a year ago after a year of Trump. And of course, that matches what we see when it comes to MAGA, right? It matches what we see coming to MAGA, whereby it was 74 and now it's 78%. If anything, MAGA's grip on the GOP, and it seems like the next in line to be the next standard bearer of MAGA, both of them, their favorable ratings are actually up after a year of Donald Trump's second term.
Wow. So that's amazing. 84% approval rating among Republicans. Now, for those in the audience that are liberally impaired, it doesn't matter what the Democrats think. You're not voting Republican anyway. We have overwhelming support with the Republican voters. And by the way, many registered Democrats are going to vote Republican in the midterms. There's no way we can lose if we have a huge voter turnout. So this historic thing of the party in power in the second term being out of favor is not applying because we've had that break with the Autopin administration. This is in so many ways a first term that we're in so many ways. In the modern era, this has never been experienced before, right? So these are huge numbers. By the way, the woman there, is that Julianne Malveaux? Is that Jean-Pierre's ex-girlfriend? I'm not sure. All right, let's go back to the phones. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hold on. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Steve from St. Lucie, Florida.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Hey, I was just wondering if you had an opinion on this, Brian. I was wanting to get your thoughts, maybe pros, cons, possible solutions on the idea of no property tax for your primary residence.
Oh, man, I mean, I pay property tax. Yeah, heck yeah. My mother is retired. She's a widow. Her property tax is through the roof. Yeah, but there's a problem with that, okay? The property Ron DeSantis talked about this, okay? What the proposal is to eliminate property tax on your homesteaded property, right? So the property taxes are not done by the state. They're done by the county. As an example, the property taxes are done 100% by the counties. You're in St. Lucie County. I've mentioned this many times on the air. A couple years ago, my wife and I were going to move to Tradition in St. Lucie County, in Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is nice. But St. Lucie County has the highest property taxes in the state of Florida. There's 67 counties in Florida. So we didn't do it. Plus, they had 3 HOA fees on top of that, which was insanity. But anyway, this is what has to happen, because it's not done by the state. It's done at the county level. The state can't pass a law eliminating property taxes on homesteaded property. So it's going to be on the ballot in November. But it's a constitutional amendment for the Florida State Constitution. 60% have to vote to eliminate the property taxes for it to go through. 60%. And any time here in Florida there's been a ballot measure to raise the sales tax, it always passes because of these liberal do-gooders. Okay? And when you look to eliminate the property tax on homesteaded properties, a lot of liberal idiots that are paying through the nose in property taxes, because Republicans are for it, they're going to vote to keep their property taxes. The renters they don't care, and they want to stick it to the landlord. It's unlikely to pass. To get 60% of voters to vote in favor of eliminating it, I mean, it would be life-changing for so many people, including myself. It's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I know. But, 60%. How are we going to get 60%?
Right. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to call you, Brian. I know, I've been listening, not for long, as long as you've been on WPSL 1590.
Oh, awesome. Welcome.
But you definitely sound like an intelligent guy, so I wanted to hear your thoughts and opinions on that. I appreciate it.
And in St. Lucie, the other thing with St. Lucie County, it's growing so much. The infrastructure and utilities of St. Lucie County can't keep up. So so you have the highest taxes, property taxes in the state. They want to raise them more, probably. The county government. It's really a shame. And what I got my issues with DeSantis because he betrayed Trump and all. But DeSantis does a lot of great things. He is the greatest governor that this state has ever had, and I can't imagine another governor doing that. I mean, we got the open carry, all these things. We got the alligator Alcatraz. We got all these things, but what he said is basically you're renting your home from the government, and that's so true. And so many
feels like extortion.
It is. And people have a dream of paying off their homes and living in a mortgage-free home, like those Tunnel to Tower commercials that you see, a mortgage-free home. But in Florida, because our homeowners insurance is so high, you add that to the taxes. Most people, their home's not paid off, right? It's mortgaged. And most people have the mortgage and the homeowner's insurance bundled with the mortgage payment. And for most Florida homeowners, if you look at the breakdown, your mortgage payment is the least of the expense. The homeowner's insurance and the taxes are more. Each of them is more than your mortgage are, for most Florida homeowners. So what happens is, people, they work their whole life, they pay off their house, and then they realize it's only saving them less than $1,000 a month, $500, $600, $700 a month, maybe, because most of their mortgage payment is the taxes and the homeowner's insurance. It's really criminal. It's really criminal. There's not much they can do about the homeowner's insurance, I guess, but the property taxes on your homesteaded property should be eliminated, at least for senior citizens. I mean, it's criminal, but I just don't see how you're going to get 60% of people voting for that. However, I was very surprised when marijuana legalization didn't pass last time, because I thought, we have, senior citizens that are retired. They're the 60s hippie generation. So I figured all these retirees remember the glory days of smoking weed at Woodstock, and it would pass, and it didn't. So maybe I'll be surprised, but 60% is a high bar. So I mean, don't count your money yet.
Right. Yeah, I'll certainly continue to be praying for it. Me and my wife, we're a homeschool family, and it's a one income. And God bless her, she does a lot of work with our kids and keeping up with the house. But if we could have that relief, oh man, I could actually save some money. And I'm only in my 30s, Brian. I have young kids, young father, young husband.
Yeah.
And, man, what a blessing that would be. But hey, even if not, the Lord will provide. So
the Lord always provides. But I like, my mother lives in her house is paid off. She's retired. She's a widow, and boom, she's got that. Now she gets a little bit of a break because she's retired and she's a widow. You get a little bit of break on your taxes, but it's still a lot, And it's really it's thievery. And Port St. You're in St. Lucie County. I'm in Palm Beach County. There are 2 public libraries within 3 miles of my house. We have at least 5 dog parks in my neighborhood that the county has. I mean, what the heck? What do we need all these dog parks for? And who's going to the public library other than homeless people anymore? The government has plenty of money. Plenty. All right, appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, welcome to all of you that are new listening to the program in Indian River and St. Lucie County and Martin County. Welcome to the program. Make sure you tell everybody on whatever station you're listening to in those markets about the program and our radio stations. I'd appreciate it. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break and be back. Yeah, I mean, I can't get the guy's hopes up about the property tax. Believe me, when DeSantis explained what's got to happen, it was like the wind was taken out of my sails, because I was pretty excited about the property tax elimination too, until I found out the truth of what's got to happen.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse? Weather, traffic, whatever. Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
All right. Right, 20 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. Show has flown by. It really has. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. You know, I was watching this Samantha Guthrie mother kidnapping story, and I was watching some of the analysis from an FBI profiler yesterday on Fox, and they were talking to them about, well, who do you look for in this? And they said, you look for the relative that's not good with money. That's the first suspect. And, you know, you were talking yesterday about probate or not having your affairs in order, and then a judge decides. And, you know, when your estate goes to probate, they don't know the inner workings of the family personalities. They don't know which member of the family spends every penny they get in their hand the moment they get it, or who's got an addiction issue or a gambling problem. And it's really a dangerous thing to not get your affairs in order and let some judge that doesn't know you or your family make the decisions.
Well, yeah. I mean, a good estate plan is one where you don't have to get the court involved in it at all. And, you don't know what kind of decisions could be made. For example, one of the key differences between wills and trusts, because a lot of people are confused about that. They think they're similar, or that people think that wills help you avoid probate. It's the exact opposite. A will does not help you avoid probate. It just says who gets your stuff and who's in charge of the process. but it's still going to go through the probate process, meaning you're going to spend a lot of money. A lot of that money that would have gone to your loved ones now goes to the lawyers and the courts and other places that it needs to go through in the process. So it's very expensive. It could take them a long time, generally anywhere from 9 months on the low end to maybe a couple of years. So now your family is waiting to receive all the assets. It's a public process, so any dirty laundry, anything going on, can be seen by anybody who just pulls the file from the clerk of the court.
Yeah.
And again, a stranger, a judge is ruling on different issues. So that's the nightmare of probate. Whereas with the trust, we can avoid that completely by having a trust and having your assets titled in the trust. You still keep full control over the assets. So nobody's telling you what you can and cannot do. You could spend it, invest it, whatever you were already doing when it was in your name. But the other thing is the trust is going to help you avoid what's another court process called guardianship. Because if you have the assets in your name and you lose your capacity and you don't have it set up as to who is going to be in charge of handling your assets for you during your incapacity, guess what? There's a court process called guardianship. Now your family's going to have to spend a bunch of money to hire an attorney, deal with the court, have a judge end up making the final decision who is going to be named as your guardian, who's going to be handling your money for you. That may not be who you would have wanted. It might be that that relative that you're not very you would not have been very thrilled about because they're not good with money or whatever.
Or they have a drug or alcohol problem.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully a judge would not choose somebody like that.
But how do they know?
But the thing is, if you don't have things in place, as you were saying, there's the what's called the rules of intestacy. Those are the default laws under the state of Florida, and it could end up being the exact person that you did not want to, being your beneficiary, being your trustee. For example, if you don't have a spouse or even lineal descendants, I mean, perhaps your lineal descendants, like your child, is not ideal because they're not responsible. They're too young, whatever. But that's who would step in. Or if you didn't have lineal descendants, no children or grandchildren, and maybe you didn't have living parents, then guess what? It would go to your siblings. And
That's right.
A lot of people, might be thrilled that it's their sibling. That might be exactly who they would have wanted. But there are a lot of people out there who the last person on earth that they want handling their money for them is their sibling.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful to make sure that your wishes are delineated the way that you want it. Don't let it be the default because it may not be what you want.
That's right. Well, listen, I'm going to give you Attorney Barry Siegel's number. Give him a call. If you mention you heard Barry on the program, you can take advantage of that no charge in-office consultation. 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
All right, Brian. Have a great one.
All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, good morning. IB, how you doing?
All right, IB, what's up?
That caller that called in about the Epstein when Trump was talking with Pam Bondi at the table.
Yes.
Trump deflected. I like what he said about the reporter. That part I didn't get into in detail. But I tell you guys, Trump had his left hand behind his back, the shiny object. You got to remember this. We are at war. And Trump is looking down at a table like when you're at war and you move the pieces around, the strategy. What he did was, and then Elon Musk emphasized the Epstein thing, saying that his name was in the files. Yes. You guys forget three things. Trump is not only the president, he has all the classified details. Trump was hired by the FBI to bust Epstein, okay? And if those two things don't make you guys realize that you're just not thinking well. But here's the kicker. The kicker is, if Trump was actually doing a bad thing, his name would have to be on the ledger on the
listen,
flight.
I'm not so. I mean, I'm falling asleep listening to you mention Jeffrey Epstein. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what's got me concerned. We're talking about Savannah Guthrie. With this kidnapping, which I've been following, and let's all pray that her mother is returned alive. Savannah, but I heard something yesterday that was really troubling to me. And I don't know if this is troubling to you all in the audience, but I'll ask you, IB, and you guys in the audience. Savannah Guthrie's husband worked for the Clintons, and he's a big-time Democrat political consultant. And then, that figures. She's with NBC News. But then Pam Bondi is like best friends with Savannah Guthrie? Why is Pam Bondi such close friends with a person whose husband worked for the Clintons and is a big Democrat political consultant? I mean, that's to me, that's disturbing. I was not happy to hear that. You know, I mean,
you think she could be? You think she could be a double agent, to kind of put it in a simple way?
I don't know. I don't know, but I know this. I'm not. I don't have any Democrat friends.
But, it could have been the timing and the situation and the circle she was in, and then getting to understand people. Maybe she didn't know the person was a rotten tomato, but at the same time, if she does and still hang out with those kind of people.
Well, do you think Savannah did Savannah Guthrie and all these people at the Today Show not know what Matt Lauer was up to? I wouldn't be friends with those people. What Matt Lauer was doing at the Today Show all those years was scummy as scummy gets.
Pam Bondi knew Matt Lauer and hung with Matt Lauer?
No. Savannah Guthrie worked with Matt Lauer at the Today Show. There's no way they didn't know what he was up to. He was, you understand what I mean? So I wouldn't be friends with people like that. That's just not the circles that I roll in. Hey, IB, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ron Lake Worth.
Hey, Lake Worth, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to give kudos to Barry Siegel. He, when he gives those little tidbits on when you interview him in the morning like you just did, I have a will, the wife and I, for my child. He's our only child. And what I wanted to do to make it easier for him is put all our assets in his name before our time came. The house, the Roth IRA, and property and cash or whatever. And he did a whole segment on not to do that because, God forbid, my son gets sued.
That's right.
They can go after my wife and myself.
That's correct.
So he saved me a lot of aggravation. Just people, listen to those little tidbits he gives on the radio every morning.
He's great. Barry Siegel's tops. He's tops. That's why he's with us. Yeah, well, I appreciate those kind words. If Barry's not listening, I'll tell him about your call.
Thank him for me, Brian.
Will do. All right, take care.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
All right, hang in there, guys. Okay, we'll be back in about 90 seconds. If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, man, I tell you, this show's flying by. We have less than 30 minutes until the end of the show. Holy smokes, TGIF. And if you're new, guys, I'll be here all weekend. I'm always here Saturday and Sunday mornings, and sometimes in the afternoons on the weekends, too, depending on how the news goes. So make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell. Yeah, you're all welcome to call in. The number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. The calls on this open MAGA Mike Friday have been pretty good today for the most part. Wouldn't you guys agree? It's 888-465-2631. Okay, we got about a minute, and we'll be back. Oh yeah, I got a couple things I got to bring up when we get back though. But you're welcome to call in. Oh, boy. I know I hated to disappoint that guy about the property taxes in Florida, but believe me, I wish it would go down. When the sales tax is on the ballot and people vote to increase the sales tax, that never ceases to amaze me. The government has more than enough money. Always. They don't need our money. They need our money to steal, to make themselves rich. That's what they tax us for. 20 seconds. I can't believe how fast the show has gone by today. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. The month of February is American Heart and National Cancer Prevention Month. And, of course, I'm talking about Life Imaging FLA. And, Life Imaging FLA, they're all about preventative health and also giving you peace of mind. You hear these so terrible stories. There was someone that I talked about a couple weeks ago. We got their cause of death. Adam the Woo, who's was an online travel YouTuber guy that I was a big fan of, and he died of heart failure, and he had massive blockage. And and when I heard his cause of death, I was just thinking about Life Imaging FLA. If he would have gone into Life Imaging FLA and had that heart scan, he'd be with us today. And that call I got a couple weeks ago on the show from one of our listeners who went over there for the heart scan and then took my advice. He asked about the cancer screening, did that, and found out he had a tumor. And in all these situations, people have no symptoms. They don't know they have cancer. They don't know they have blockage. Life Imaging FLA have locations in Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Oh, this is a great... Did you see... we got a perp walk. Fox News did a bit of a perp walk with Presley from the Squad. She's the bald-headed lady in the Squad, and she went into Congress with a negative net worth, and now she's worth many millions of dollars. Listen to this.
How did you make all this income from the rental property?
Sir, I submit a financial disclosure, just like everybody else. There's nothing to see here. Thank you.
Is it appropriate for members to make so much money?
You know what I've noticed I'll play I haven't seen a perp walk in years. I love it. With a reporter, I love perp walks. The last time I've seen a member of Congress questioned like this by a reporter was when Gary Condon, when his girlfriend that worked for him was found dead. Remember that? And they were following him around, and that was right before 9/11. It's been a long time. But one thing I've noticed about liberals, not just Presley, but liberals that call me, when they're in trouble, all of a sudden they're calling you sir. It's like people call cops sir all the time when they're nervous.
How did you make all this income from the rental property?
Sir, I submit a financial disclosure, just like everybody else. There's nothing to see here. Thank you.
Is it appropriate for members to make so much money when they're in office? Should there be rules there? Financial disclosure reports show that the wealth of Presley and her husband Conan Harris swelled from $12,000 in 2019 to as much as $8 million. 5 rental properties earn them up to $350,000 annually. Presley once advocated to suspend rent during the pandemic. She pushed policies for struggling homeowners.
These little to no cost bills help people remain housed.
Presley's husband is an ex-con who went from serving a decade in jail before they were married for drug trafficking to raking in up to $1 million a year as a business and management consultant.
There are many times where we can see that the spouse is the person who
may be bringing in the most income.
Some lawmakers resist restrictions on outside earnings.
I bet
you
they
think
do.
that there should be changes, some different rules about what members can make while they're in office?
These are presumably right-wing reports.
Right-wing reports. You know, did you know that Presley's husband did a 10-year stretch in prison for drugs? I had no idea. Oh, boy. You know, I'm not opposed to anyone making money, but you got to do it legally. How does Presley, with her convict husband, go from $12,000 net worth to being worth $8 million and having multiple rental properties in the Hamptons and in Boston? There's nothing legit with that. And, you know, these Democrats, they're not accustomed to being questioned like this. Not at all. And whoever that reporter is for Fox, that's some great reporting. I hope he sticks to it. That was really good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, my name's Chris, and I'm from Arkansas.
All right, Chris.
I called you a few months ago about a case here in Arkansas, the Aaron Spencer case.
Yes.
It is about a dad who...
I remember the call. I remember you, yes.
Well, I was calling to give you an update on that. The judge in that case, she was so corrupt. And throughout the proceedings leading up to the trial, she was every motion.
Well, I got to tell you know, I've told you this before. I mean, no one's really interested in that case outside of there because nobody knows who these people are. It's a local story. I mean, I know it's open phones, but. No one's really interested. Nobody knows who the judge is, who the people are that's in the audience. It's just not something that anyone would be interested in other than, you know, you and some local people. I'm not trying to be rude to you, but I got to have some quality control on the open phones. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm sorry. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I'm Miss Faye from Austin, Texas area.
All right.
And I love your show, and thank you that MAGA we can come and talk right here.
Yes.
But I just want to say, Brian, happy Black History Month, the whole month. You know what my people tell me when I tell them we got the whole month? They say, but they gave us the shortest one.
That's true.
You know, some people, they
That's
won't find a good thing, but we got the whole month. And, you know, I bet they don't celebrate the whole month, so be happy. But, you know, Jesus and Dr. King, they didn't die for our country to be disunited like this and split up, you know, and hatred for each other. So let's all of us, MAGA people, we're already good people, but let's do everything we can to make sure
you know, President Trump said this week that everyone should recognize and celebrate Black History Month.
Oh, wouldn't you know it? He's the greatest next to Abraham Lincoln.
Well, what do you think? What do you think out of all the Black history is the one thing that's most important that people should think about this month? If you had to pick one thing.
This month, think about our leader that we marched under his leadership,
Martin Luther
Dr. King. He would show you how to march peacefully, nonviolent, lovingly, including everybody. Not this. You could watch. You know, pull up some videos how to march peacefully in America.
That's right.
This is the greatest country in the world. That's why everybody's trying to come here, Brian.
Have you ever been to the Martin Luther King Museum in Atlanta?
Unfortunately, look, I'll be 83 this year, so before
you can still go. You should go.
Here, I want to go.
You know, I want. You should go. You know, they have on display. They had on display the contents of Dr. King's pockets when he was killed, and right next to it, he had a pair of shoes that belonged to Gandhi. Were right next to his stuff. It's pretty cool. You should go. You're 83. You can make it to Atlanta.
Yeah, I can do that. So, look, I pray for you every day and the president in my country, and you pray that I get to go to the museum, okay?
That's right. And the museum,
I love you.
When you go to his museum, it's right there at his church, Ebenezer Baptist Church. You can go into Martin Luther King's church, and his birthplace is on the same street. It's cool. You should go before you die.
But you know what, Brian? When I go, it'll probably be like when I went to see Melania. I cried through the whole movie. I'd probably be visiting the museum just crying through the whole
Well, that's
thing.
awesome.
I cried through the whole movie.
That's awesome. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian. What's up?
Good, Brian. How are you?
All right.
You know, Brian, this thing has gotten so out of hand. The people who are in public service as senators and congressmen and governors and that, this business that these guys go into office with a couple $1,000s in their bank account, and now they're multimillionaires.
Well, and you know, and this thing with Presley, hold on a second. My lines are ringing off the hook. Okay. Presley, I didn't know her husband did 10 years in prison on drug charges.
No, I didn't know that either.
I mean, what the heck?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of wealth these people accumulate in public service. They're making a low six-figure income, and all of a sudden they're worth $10, $20, $30 million.
Well,
and
no, in the case
of
Presley and these other squad members, we were talking about Ilhan Omar the other day. They had negative net worth. In fact, Presley's net worth. I know the reporter said 12,000. I read an article the other day that it was negative 125,000 when she came to Congress.
So.
And now she's worth at least $8 million with rental property in the Hamptons. I mean, my goodness, you know how much it costs to rent in the Hamptons? It's all crooked.
Absolutely, totally crooked, and it's systemic throughout, especially the Democratic Party, Republican Party too. But the Democratic Party is just the standard operating procedure. I mean, it's a catastrophe, and it really should be investigated. They should be able to prove where this income comes in.
You know, it's all in my disclosure forms. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why he's asking you about it. You know, the thing about it though is when Presley's a good one to investigate because when her husband, he did 10 years, he's dirty. So, you know, a guy like that, when you give him the keys to the kingdom, like he's gotten with her being in Congress, she's a good one to start with a even more than Ilhan Omar, because I promise you give a convict that kind of access, he's going crazy. There's all kinds of evidence around.
It seems now you can make more money in public service than you can as a drug pusher.
You can.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
And it's all legit, kinda, on the books.
Yeah. Quick question for you. You're the only one who did a follow-up on that second assassination attempt on President Trump at the golf course.
Yep.
And it was recently adjudicated, and they gave him life in prison. Do you have any feelings about the conclusion of this?
Ukraine was behind. Both of the shooters have Ukrainian connections. Both of the I always forget, what's the name of the company? They were both in corporate videos for, what's that big company that owns everything?
Was it BlackRock?
BlackRock. But the first shooter is in a BlackRock video about teachers. The golf course shooter was in a BlackRock video about Ukraine. The Butler shooter had one of the phones he was calling a Ukrainian number. The guy at the golf course, Ruth, whatever his name, he was a recruiter. He had went to Ukraine, and he was a recruiter for Ukraine, recruiting veterans as mercenaries to fight for Ukraine. And you know, there was there's Ukrainian connections to both of these assassination attempts of the president, and we know nothing about these people. Nothing. If you watch my documentary, he got caught by accident. Oh, you did. It's good, isn't it? He got caught by accident. Did you see how I found his spot where he was hiding out?
Yes.
Was that cool? I say I'm good. I do good at these videos. I'm very good at these things. But he got caught by accident. When he ran away, a passerby saw him and followed him to his car and wrote down his license plate number. He was supposed to get away. He was driving up.
A
woman
saw him,
who's never been interviewed, and he was driving. When they got him on 95, he wasn't speeding. He was driving. He was driving with traffic. He wasn't even trying to get away because he was.
He didn't have a worry in the world. You know?
We haven't seen anything about who he was staying with here in South Florida. Remember, he was from Hawaii. The gun that he had was the AK-47, which is which the Ukrainians were giving out in the early days of the war to civilians to fight the Russians. We got nothing on either of these assassinations.
Were you able to get any more on the testimonies in court? I've
Nothing.
never heard anything that was
nothing came out of interest. Nothing. Very disappointing.
You know, this guy, it's a blessing President Trump got out of that okay, but you know what? When an attempt is made like that, I wonder if just life in prison is justified. Maybe there should be
It's not, because they let John Hinckley out of prison. You know, he was going to go away for life too, and John Hinckley's been free for years, right? If for you liberals out there, he's the guy that shot President Reagan, okay?
Right.
And he's been free for years.
How did he get out? How did he get out out of that?
Because he shot a Republican.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
If it had been a Democratic, forget it.
Exactly.
It was a great documentary you did, and
thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Have a great week, Brian.
Appreciate it. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, have you called him yet? Come on, guys. You don't have to be overweight. You don't have to. You know, this was the first time I was ever on any official diet plan, and I was so nervous, and the word I use a lot with it is it's effortless. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, there's no surgery, no intense workouts. You don't have to starve yourself. I ate foods I would normally eat, and you're not taking any of those shots, injections, or pills either, and it works. I lost about a pound a day. Isn't that something? That's right. And I lost more than my target weight, no matter how much you want to lose, whether it's 25 pounds or 425 pounds or anywhere in between or even more than that. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Schedule your no-charge consultation. They can help you lose weight no matter where you're located. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. Hey there. We have about a minute to go.
Okay.
So I'm just going to leave you on the line here. Stand by.
Okay.
It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with our final gold and precious metals report of the week. How the metals ending the week, William?
Metals look like they're going to end up nicely, except the volatility is increasing, and it's certainly for traders, it's not for the lighthearted because we've seen wild swings in these precious metals as they continue to go through the bottoming process, which we may have actually seen possibly today or last night. Yesterday we saw gold close trade in a range of $4,759 on the low, all the way up to $5,025 before pulling back and actually dropping $187.30, closing out the day at $4,776.50. Silver traded in a range of $70 to $90 yesterday and closed down $17.26. at $70.82 the ounce. Platinum was down $253 at $1,986, and palladium lost $113 at $1,630. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $46.54 on the low, all the way up to $4,937 this morning. After being down dramatically at the quiet times of the evening hours last night, gold getting down to $46.54, now surged to $49.33 right now, which is up $156.50. So as I said, the volatility in these markets is extreme, and you can take advantage of that when you see these wild swings, especially on the downside, because I think we are in a bottoming process right now before we start going higher again.
Yeah.
Silver, currently at $75.60. That's up $4.79 this morning, but we did get down last night for a moment to $63.98 the ounce. Again, spiking down and then turning around and reversing and going up. These are signs of a bottoming process. And if that holds, then we should be looking higher again. Silver currently $75.60. That's up $4.79. Platinum up $70 at $2,055. And palladium up $45 at $16.75. The dollar is much lower this morning, and that's pretty much where we look like we're going to end up maybe today. We'll see how this market closes this Friday, though.
You know, with these dips and ups and downs and valleys, I think regular people that are into the metals, like people that are into it for years, I don't think that really factors in. I don't think that because gold and silver, it's money, you know. And I was looking that Bitcoin's been tanking, and I wondered, you know, with these storms, when people don't have electricity and they don't have internet, how do they use their Bitcoin? You know, with gold and silver, there's no electricity, there's no internet, you still got the gold and silver in your hand, you still got money. And I remember when you were open, when all the power was out after the hurricanes and everything, and to me, that's where it's at. This is just a great time. If you're new to the metals, this is the perfect time to get in. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Give him a call, toll free, 800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010, or stop in. His shop in Boca is located on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto at 150 East Palmetto Park Road. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. This has been a pretty good Open MAGA Mike Friday so far. The show has just flown by, I'm here to tell you. And we've had some really good callers. And those of you that are new to the show, welcome. And those of you up in the Treasure Coast stations, welcome to the program. And make sure that you let everybody know about the program and the radio station. Let your friends know. All right? Word of mouth advertising, guys. That always works. Okay, let's go. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi there, I'm Isaiah. I'm calling from Illinois.
Illinois, you're on the air. What's on your mind, Illinois?
So I was just wondering what you think about well, I voted for Trump big time. Big time supporter.
Yes, I know, 3 times.
I'm a big time supporter of, well, I was only able, I'm a bit young. My first time being able to vote was 2024.
Okay. Get to the but part. You voted for Trump and you support Trump, but get to the but part about it.
Well, it's one of the things that definitely got me to vote for him was immigration, and I just want to know what you think about, not even talking about the specific shootings everyone's going on about, what do you think about the conduct that it seems that they're kind of, because everyone still agrees in
the conduct. I think these Antifa, anti-ICE people, their conduct is appalling.
Certainly it is. But I'm speaking of some, not all, everybody, like the media is trying to make it seem, but maybe certain of ICE officers.
I think the ICE officers of Minneapolis all deserve medals.
I just wanted to know what you thought about that.
I told you, I think they should be honored by the president with medals on their chest. They're doing great work against anarchists who are in an insurrection against the government. I think the ICE is doing a great job, don't you?
I do. I just wanted to know what you thought about these.
I think they're awesome.
Situation.
I think they're the greatest. They're America's heroes. Listen, I've been talking this week. The FBI crime statistics came out earlier this week. Crime in the United States is at a 125-year low. That's since 1900. The murder rate is at its lowest point in 125 years. And the reason the crime rate's so low is because of the great work that ICE is doing, led by Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, deporting all these illegal criminals. It's amazing. I'm proud of ICE. He hung up. He didn't have the guts to do the fake MAGA thing. He hung up. I had my hands in my pockets. He was getting ready to do his thing that he voted for Trump, but ICE, ICE gotta go. Liberals have always been calling in pretending to be Republicans. Always. It's not, this is not unique to this period of time with President Trump. They used to do this when Bush was, both Bushes, Clinton, Obama. And the reason, why liberals pretend to be Republicans when they call shows like this? Because they know if they tell you the truth that they're a Democrat, they have no credibility with you and the listening audience. And the only way they can attempt to even have a shred of credibility is to pretend to be us, conservative. And that guy hung up. I had my hands, I'm wearing a hoodie, I had my hands in my pockets while I was talking to him, and it just, he chickened out. I want to talk about the Sloman's Home Security free offer. This is amazing. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation, as well as 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Isn't that amazing? Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in no matter where you're located. Give them a call no matter where you are, and this is a great deal. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. I must say, this open MAGA Mike Friday today, this show has flown by in the blink of an eye. And you out there in the listening audience who have called in today have, you did your duty. You did a great job. The calls today have been spectacular. And we only had to use the dump button once, which may be a record on Open MAGA Mike Friday, just using the dump button one time. Yeah. Usually it's 3, 4 or more, but one time. And you guys have brought up a lot of good topics. On this is the day when the show preps up to you guys, and you've brought up a lot of good things. And I do appreciate that. Thanks so much. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I hope Steve will be back with us on Monday. I talked to Steve yesterday. He's feeling a lot better, but not quite well enough to talk for a prolonged period yet. Have a great weekend, everyone. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And because of the last caller, God bless ICE. See you Monday. All right. We are clear. Maybe I'll take a caller. It's the post show now. Let me see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Logan. Calling from all the way over in California.
Okay.
Really early for me. I just wanted to know, how do you feel about Trump being implicated in the Epstein files thousands of times?
What do I implicated? What does implicated mean?
Oh, well, being implicated in child rape.
No,
torture,
that's not true. You just made all that up. You just made all that. You just made that up. How dare you?
I really
How
did.
dare you? How dare you? Get off my phone and never call me again. I don't mind talking to liberals, but you're not going to lie and slander the President of the United States here. You can disagree with him, and we can have a debate about the issues, but you're not going to make crap up. Thanks for watching, everyone. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.